Punch and Pie.
Yeah. Punch and Pie is your brainchild. It's your baby. Tell me about Punch and Pie.
Yeah, so Punch and Pie started. I was working at a restaurant called Trattoria Il Mulino in Manhattan, and there was a hole in the schedule for the managers. I was the head bartender, the creative head bartender. I wasn't a manager. I was the head bartender, and there was a hole in the schedule on a Wednesday night where they're like, "Hey, we don't have a manager to close the restaurant. Can you just like lock the doors for us and we'll do all the paperwork tomorrow? Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine. But the law says I can keep this bar open till 4, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." So I just started keeping it open, and I started inviting friends from the neighborhood into Trattoria Il Mulino to have pizza and cocktails at a discounted price in a fine dining restaurant late night after they got off their shift. So that's how Punch and Pie started.
So I mean, was that the first time you'd ever done something that was like kind of marketing centric? Because I mean, obviously you created a product in the Punch and Pie, and then you invited people to it to draw butts into seats into the restaurant as a creative endeavor. Have you ever done anything like that?
I mean, in video games, yes, in my teenage years, but it can apply. But no, not anything like that.
Yeah. So how did it turn out? What did you learn?
Well, what I learned is that bringing people together really creates a sense of community and sense of balance and sense of connection, and it's grown. It's really grown. I still talk to these people today. It's led me to so many amazing experiences. It led me to a trip to Guatemala to climb a volcano, to go on a survivor style challenge. And that's a whole nother story. But it led me to just a lot of opportunities and meeting people, just because I opened my doors of that night, that Wednesday night, every night for about 2.5 to 3 years, letting a guest bartender come in and letting a brand maybe come in and sponsor the event, and opening the doors and collaborating, letting someone else in, just made magic happen. And it allowed a conversation to happen, and it allowed people to have something to look forward to, something to communicate about.
So when you were getting brands involved, like what were you looking for in a collaborator? What did the collaboration look like?
It was just like so I wanted to fit it into what we were doing in the restaurant, obviously, because it was an Italian restaurant. So actually, that's why I'm wearing the shirt right now. The party like there's no tomorrow. I actually made this shirt for a charity. And we actually raised a lot of money for an earthquake that happened in Italy at the time. I don't remember the year, unfortunately. But we did a charity event, a Punch and Pie event at Trattoria Molina, raised money and gave it to the American Heritage Italian Heritage Museum or something or the other, to send money to families that needed it. And we got a bunch of Amaro brands involved, and that's where I came up with the brand Party Like There's No Amaro, because what if the earthquake wiped out all of our Amaros?
Wow.
So
that's grim but interesting.
It was a very powerful statement, and a lot of Amaro brands just like stood up and like was like, "Hey, we love it, let's do it." They chipped in, and we did a charity to raise money for a good cause. So
I think that's very resourceful to reach out to your brand friends. A lot of people don't think of these things as joint ventures, but in the regular business world, when you and your partners they share the same customer, which you do with your brand partners, then everybody can win. And creating these opportunities for brands to get involved and get in front of new customers possibly is very valuable. So I wish, what would be your advice to somebody who is trying to get butts in seats and trying to generate excitement for their bar? And how would they work with a brand to achieve that?
Trying to get butts in seats in a bar. So I'm a little bit. I'm not working in bars right now. That's the thing. So
well, but you had this very successful series for a long time. So I'm just
I guess just creating a centerpiece, making the bar a stage, making the bar what it should be, making sure that there's someone responsible, taking the bar seriously. The bar is an art piece. The bar can be a stage. The bar is a center point, a communication center, a place to trust. Actually, one of my I read one of Danny Meyer's books where he went and you know went to someone's house for them to take a bottle of champagne out of their freezer because he knew it would, it would explode in the freezer while they were at the bar. That's a story that he told in his book. It's those little things that really mean a lot to people. It's just, sharing the knowledge and having that ability to communicate with someone, a center communicator that talks to a lot of people and shares information. So
I wonder if I went out and picked up a bottle of champagne, if Danny Meyer would show up and rescue that bottle. And if that's just how easy it is to book Danny Meyer.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So you've since taken your consulting work on the road. You just had a gig in Texas, right?
Yeah. Well, the gig in Texas was a really interesting gig. I was invited down more on the art side of things. So art and crypto side of things. That's where I've been kind of putting my energy towards lately is more towards the arts and supporting the arts and supporting conscious and sustainable and professional partying, so to speak. So there was an opportunity just to showcase some really beautiful art in Austin, and I was invited down by a really great team, and we all came together and we had a really great space to just activate. And we did it professionally. We did it well. We didn't, break any laws. We didn't, we went above and beyond to make sure that everyone was safe and secure and taken care of and had an experience. And that's what it's all about. And I actually brought Cup Zero down there. Something I want to mention is I took Cup Zero down there with me. This is the cup right here. Cup Zero is a company that I truly believe in. I'm not working for them. I just really believe in them. They they're trying to minimize plastic waste. And whenever there's a party, a random party, you might go to the store and buy, some solo cups or plastic cups or something, and you just take a drink and throw it away, and you think nothing of it. But what Cup Zero does is no, it says right on the cup, hey, I'm worth more than one drink. And they actually set people and businesses and parties and even underground parties, private parties, house parties, restaurants, bars, anywhere, festivals up for success to minimize the waste by educating the consumer to carry a cup with them or rent a cup in this case. And it's a really cool program that they have. They also do it at coffee shops and stuff like that.
So what's the mechanics of it? So they give you a cup with a drink in it, you drink the drink, and then you return the drink for a new cup, and then they recycle the old cup. Or
no,
they wash it.
No. So the idea is basically, let's say you walk into the event and you walk up to the bar and they provide the signage even. They'll deliver the signage. It says, hey, you're gonna spend $2 to rent this cup tonight. This is your cup for the night. This is your cup for the night. This is your cup. When you finish your drink, you bring this back to the bar and I'll put another cocktail in it and you'll pay for it. But you pay $2 to rent the cup from the bar, for example, just an example, and then it puts the responsibility of the cup in the consumer's hand and not anyone else's. So then that's their cup, and they're going to bring it back to the bar to get it refilled and pay for another cocktail. And therefore, I went from, doing an art gallery event for 100 people, having 20 trash bags at the end of the night, down to having 0 trash bags and only recycling. Like, that's huge win.
Yeah,
And
that's super cool.
yeah, they provide all the solutions of the cleaning and everything. Also, they you can get branded cups and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, I remember we talked about this before. Like when I do big events like Made in America or US Open or something like that, it's a huge problem. Like I mean, at the end of Made in America, like literally there's like an army of garbage trucks that just go by and just literally just they have cow catchers that they just push the trash in the same place. And then
I'm wondering. I want to know how much you spend. I want to see the bottom line on the trash bill, and I want to compare that to what it would, to putting it onto the consumer responsibility to just, rent a cup and be responsible. So, because what happens is it balances out. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right, and I hope the economics work like that. But
it does.
Prevailing logic. Well, I mean, the prevailing logic with big brand builders and like event producers and stuff like that is that they have a fixed cost in the beginning. They say, this is how much we're going to spend on cups. And like, it's literally pallets full of plastic, which expands because they're no longer in neat little sleeves anymore. And so they say, okay, well, this is the economic impact, and they don't think about the environmental impact. But if you can connect the two things and say, hey, this is an economically viable way to reduce waste and save us money, then I don't see why there'd be any reason not to do it. But I mean, when you're serving in the range of 30,000 cocktails over 2 days, then that is a staggering amount of trash. And it's just
I've seen this work for festivals with tens of thousands of people and as small as a party of 100 people. So it works. And
event producers take note.
Yeah.
I mean, like before the ecologically conscious producers would do compostable cups, which are great. They're wonderful. They're heinously expensive though.
Right. So exactly.
Typically,
but all you do is you only pay the cleaning fee, and if cups go missing, then you have to buy the cup. That's it.
Right.
But you only pay the cleaning fee, and if cups go missing, you have to buy the cup. But that's where that $2 rental fee covers everything. So it puts the responsibility in the consumer's hand.
So are you building this into your consulting services, like whether you're producing an event or building a bar consulting is
absolutely. I refuse to take a job that they either need to provide me with glassware or I will use Cup Zero. I will never use disposable cups. So or any kind of waste.
So run me through your. So what's your ideal gig? What do you want? What's your vision?
I really will just. So I feel like we've gone through a lot as a society the past couple of years. Obviously, I feel like there's a gap. We missed 2 years of educating each other. We missed 2 years of connection. We missed 2 years of being able to share information with each other. And I think we need to catch up on that. And I think we need to do it very quickly, because otherwise, there's going to be some problems. There's going to be too many new people going out, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to handle themselves in these situations, and not knowing how to go out and experience things without the guidance of others to help them. Before I was using this analogy that maybe, and I'm just pulling this off the top of my head, but 75% of the people at a party or a restaurant or a bar have been there before and they know what's going on, and 25% maybe are new. So that was before COVID, and everyone taught them how to do things. So it's always inviting just a couple of new people in, a couple of new people in, a couple of new people in. But now it's the opposite, where it's like a few people are holding the fort down, but massive amounts of people are coming in that don't know how to order, party, eat, drink, imbibe professionally, respectfully, consensually, etc. So
But do you have any ideas? I mean, like, do you have an idea on how to solve that? Does working with you mean solving that?
Absolutely. Just having more conversations like this and getting more information out there to people, and being able to talk to more people and share information with each other and opening up to people is something that I truly believe in just sharing and for lack of a better word, decentralizing our information.
Okay.
So, and I think that's something that you are doing, and that's why I've been admiring you and agreed to, you know, come on board with you for this. So
well, thank you. Well, don't let me cut you off there. If you have any more compliments or love notes, I'll take them. So I'm somebody who doesn't, let's say I'm somebody who doesn't know how to party. What are the steps that I would need to know know how to party in the post-COVID New York or world?
Something called DYOR. Do your own research. We all have a phone, right? Everyone's got a phone.
What if they're on their phone right now looking for advice from a seasoned expert like you?
Do your own phone. Do your own phone. Do your own research. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions from people that are smarter than you. And I gotta give props right now to in this regard to partying or any of that regards to House of Yes. House of Yes has done a massive amount of work in educating and prevention and culture and creating such a beautiful community in Brooklyn that is just massive, and it spans it's beyond Brooklyn. It's global, and it's so beautiful. And what they've done is just teaching people how to be responsible and be a grown up and be consenting adults, and that's it. Learning how to say no to things, learning how to ask for things, learning how to just communicate. That's it. That's all it takes. And they've taught me that, so I owe it to them. So
well, thank you for communicating with me right now. I appreciate you taking the time, and thank you for saying yes to this.
Yeah.
Logan, where can we find you aside from on the Who's My Rep group?
Well, I mean, I'm out and about. Usually I tend to be more of a nightlife type person, so I am more on the era of late night type person. So
okay.
I can be
late nights at the House of Yes.
Yeah, House of Yes, or but there's many other places as well that are doing many other great things. That they're not the only ones. But yeah, I mean, Punch of Pie is my brand and my consulting business that I try to either manage artists who are, or I try to help artists and use cocktails as art. And actually, the piece behind me here, we just did an art gallery opening for her and Nakufo, and she had an amazing art gallery experience, and I designed a cocktail based around how she makes her art too as well. So it was just like really fitting, and I really cater to the atmosphere of what the occasion is. Very intentional, very intentional cocktail creations. So
okay, all right. So Logan, you are the rep for Pie and Punch, or Punch and Pie.
Punch and Pie.
And you do creative cocktail development, and then you're also involved in the tech space with NFTs and digital art. So thank you so much for making the time. I really appreciate it, bud. And I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
how'd that go?
That was great. Man, I forgot. I wanted to mention my favorite cocktail menu, but oh well, it's all right.
hey, what's your favorite cocktail menu?
So my favorite cocktail menu that I did is, it was for, I got hired to do a private event for a robot launch party called Temi, Temi, and I made the cocktail menu in code. So it was like, are you a programmer at all? Do you know programming at all?
No.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of what programmers do, but I'm not a programmer. No.
So I did the work, and the entire cocktail menu was in code. So because I assumed, because it was for their part, it was for all of the developers. So I did it for them, and it was my favorite menu that I did. It was like, if you want this, then that, else this, like, if then else statements in a programming.
Logic,
yeah, conditional logic in a programming language structure, and that's how I designed the menu. And that was one of my favorite menus that I designed. So just like applying that concept to it, it was really fun.
I mean, how was the delivery? Was it like a chat widget, like a chat bot?
No, I mean, I just put it on the menu, but it looked like code. So they walked up to the bar and they saw code, and it was like, if you want this, then that, and it was, and they got it, they understood it, and they loved it. It was great.
Where would we be able to find that? I'm interested.
I mean, I can send you a copy. I think I still have it on my Google Drive. So.
Yep. Oh, so it was like a Google Drive folder.
Yeah, I still have it on my Google Drive. I can send you a copy of it if you want to see it.
I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah.
And so what language was that coded in?